Hello friends, today is Tuesday, today's Thursday, Thursday the 27th of July, and it's the day after our trip with Wales. It was interesting. I just thought I'll share some thoughts and some musings with you today before I post the video of our whale watching trip. With whale watching, we are going once or twice a year because it is around the corner here, and whales are actually my passion. Whales are my big love. So it's the humpback whales, southern population. Rain here eating, and here is Coco. I'll just introduce Coco. Coco is waiting for his dinner. Coco, Popsy. Coco is camera shy. Are you camera shy, Popsy? Here is baby. And here is our wild horse, Brumby. Hello, Brumby. Are you gonna windsuck again? Hello, my man. Hello, my beautiful man. So, while I'm standing with Brumby, I might share some of my thoughts about yesterday's trip. So, you know, when people go whale watching, they obviously might have some expectations. Some people don't. Like, everybody's different. Everybody has different expectations and hopes and so on. Depends very much where in the world they come from. Some people might be happy to see a whale from a distance. Some people might be happy to see a whale breaching. Some people might be happy to not see a whale at all. So if you asked me yesterday how our trip went, my first reaction would have been, well, it was a bit of waste of time because, you know, it was one of the days when it was very windy. So it was windy in the ocean, and not only windy, but they were southeasterly. So southeasterly winds are very, they obviously freezing, and they give the sea a big chop. So the sea becomes very choppy, and just a little bit, rain a little bit on the horses. The sea becomes very choppy, very, inhospitable, I would say. So it was cold, it was windy, the sea was choppy, and there were almost no whales in the bay. So my first reaction would be to say, that wasn't a good day for whale watching. And that would be pretty accurate. Yes, it probably wasn't a very good day for whale watching or for the expectations that one would have. Becoming aware of that pattern of thinking, I breathed on it a little bit and took a few breaths, took a few steps back, almost literally, and said, okay, so this is my default thinking. And that default thinking comes from something that we lately, it's become a bit of a fad, called the ego. And when we talk about self-development and we talk about working on oneself and all that sort of stuff, we tend to dislike the ego a little bit and try to fight against the ego, try to dismiss the ego and obviously try to source our being from our soul, which is all very beautiful. But I guess in my time, many years now, especially of late, I have come to, and I don't want to even call it conclusion, because who knows what will happen tomorrow and what will happen next, if tomorrow is given, because it's not promised. I came to try not to fight my ego, not to indulge in a fight or engage in a fight between the ego and the soul, or whatever we call the soul. I come to believe that a human personality, and any individual, any being in this world, be it the smallest bug, or being a little virus, or being anything, is incredibly complex and can be incredibly wonderful in so many ways. And it's and as far as human beings, they are like a painting, they're like a tapestry, very rich in colors, where some days, and those colors are dynamic, they're not static. There are many colors, many shades. Some are more vivid and some are more dull. It depends on the day that we are in, it depends on the mood, it depends on our situation and our experience that we have that day. So those colors change, probably like the ocean. The ocean changes colors, but it's always beautiful. It's always intriguing. It's always invigorating. So, or I see or perceive humans as music. So humans obviously evolved in some way, or devolved, whatever you want to call it. And from a simple, from a simple rhythm or tune of a very simple flute that's made out of a stick with holes, or hollow branch with holes, or just banging two sticks together in a certain rhythm, to the most beautiful, intricate symphonic poems ever written. So there is this huge scale of what humans can be at whatever time and have that potential to be. And it's nothing wrong with two sticks and a simple rhythm, and it's nothing wrong with a beautiful symphonic poem. So there is no good and bad to me. There is no difference between a cubist painting or the most romantic or impressionist painting on the wall. So it all depends on the situation that person is in, and what influences that person has been under, and where the person is heading on their journey. Sometimes it's dominated by, again, as we call it, the ego or the false self, or however we want to label it. I do not wish to label these parts of us, because it is a part of us, just like soul is our essence, just like feelings and emotions that we react with or respond with are parts of us. Just like the way we look and our facial expressions are parts of us. So, I told you what one part of me would have been saying about yesterday's whale watching trip. But then when one gets aware of these things and ponders on it a little bit, one will start thinking, well, hold on, it's actually not accurate at all. That is based on some emotions, on some expectations that have been unrealistic. And I am not talking like CBT or anything here, cognitive behavioral therapy and all that sort of stuff. Not at all. But I'm just sort of pondering on, on many ways how to perceive things if we give it space and a little bit of time and make a little effort to bring all these parts of ourselves that are us into harmony, rather than getting them on opposite poles and fight between them and engage in some kind of struggle and then guilt because bloody hell the ego won again. Rather than that, try to bring all the parts of ourselves, explore them, be curious, explore them, and try to keep them in some kind of harmony. And that's only learning that we all go through, and I go through, and I'll be going through this till the day I drop dead. So that's everybody's journey, and however they choose. So the other response would be, and that's the response that I came up with today and that I feel from the depth of my heart, is that the trip was really beautiful. There was a lot of stormy sea, rough seas, but not as rough like that the boat would be going under or anything, but it was a bumpy ride. And there was wind, and it was cold, and we were all bundled up, and we were all sort of had red cheeks and got red noses from the wind and from the sun and so on. But we were also blessed, and we were also, what would the word be? Gifted to witness certain whales' behaviors that maybe go often unnoticed, or unless you are obviously a whale enthusiast or whale researcher or somebody who is interested in everything the whales do, like doing nothing, for example. So we witnessed that. We came out there. We didn't go too far out because we found two whales really close in the bay, close to Harvey Bay, and they were resting, and we witnessed the whales just laying there resting. They were aware of us, they were aware of our boat, but they chose not to come, not to approach at the beginning. So we saw some gentle moves of their pectoral fins, gentle moves of their tail flukes. We witnessed their deep breathing, their breaths, which was amazing because, obviously for a whale, I think they were probably really resting because there were some deep breaths exhaled. And the mist, if they come, when they go under, and then when they come up, and there is the little bit of water that's congregates around their blowholes, and when they blow fully out, it becomes this mist, this sort of little cloud of mist that you can also find a whale by that. And I'll tell you much more about the whales when I show you the video. So we witnessed that, and then the whales actually came close and circled our boat a few times. They were curious, they had a look at us, and then they, peacefully swam away again and did their thing. At one point there was a third whale that joined them. Apparently that whale's pectoral fins were all white, so top and bottom. Usually the southern population of humpback whales have their fins, the top of their pectoral fins black, and the bottom is white. But this whale had both, so I think they call it white wing. I'm not sure. So that whale intruded, in the whale's opinion, I think, because they chased him away, or her. And then towards the end, there was a whale that we followed a little bit, but that whale was just dead set on traveling. That whale was just traveling. It was on a mission. It was going somewhere, and it, you know, at some stage, if we came too close, it definitely changed its speed and sped up, and gave us, you know, it let us know that, hey, I'm just traveling, I'm just going, you do whatever, just don't harass me. And you know, the boats in Harvey Bay never harass whales. They're always very respectful, and they always stay at a fair distance. So we witnessed that. And I also noticed that all the people on the boat were quite happy with or content with whatever was happening. When there was a bit of activity, you know, you could hear those cheers and hoots and calls and laughter. And when it was quiet and the whales were away and they did whatever they did, mainly resting, it became quiet on the boat. There were quiet conversations. You know, people were walking around, well, toppling, falling, no, not falling. But yeah, people were, you know, with more or less difficulties making their way around. And all was good. When we came, I was blessed to be out there with my friend again, the one that went with me to Bamboo Land, and met some new people, learned something more about the whales again, because every time you go out there, and if you're curious and if you're open-minded, you'll always learn something. So learn something more about the whales, learn something more about myself, about my expectations and so on. And came to the conclusion that let's just breathe gently. Because although those whales breathed, you know, those breaths were quite audible, you could hear them. They were gentle breaths. They were this deep, gentle breaths. They were not stressed. They were just gentle. And what came to mind was a quote that I heard somewhere, and that was from an interpreter or translator whose interest is the New Testament and the scripture in Aramaic. And when he translated things from Aramaic, he says that many words that were said can be translated or have many different meanings. So, for example, when and don't quote me on it now, because I don't know the English version of the scripture, but I think Jesus says somewhere, "Blessed are the ones poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." So the poor and the spirit can be also translated as gentle and breath. So it can be also, blessed are all those of gentle breath, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And by kingdom of heaven, I don't imagine just the heavenly kingdom that we all hope for after we die, but the peace and the kingdom of heaven within all of us, and here and now. And if we breathe gently, and if we try to practice gentle thoughts, then the kingdom of heaven is ours, already here and now. So that's a thought for today. You might find it cheesy, or you might resonate. So for all those who resonate somehow, please press like, subscribe, comment, and there are more videos to come. Of course, there'll be also the videos from the whale watching, which I have to just somehow compile together in some watchable way. Otherwise, you would have a lot of water there, a lot of rocking, and the camera going up and down, and some people's butts would be showing too, and feet. So I will cut out those sort of things, and yeah, I'll share it hopefully very soon. And otherwise, I will just chat with you from here. So once again, it was nice talking to you, and have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, night, from wherever you are. Talk to you later. Bye.